Did you get into an altercation? Where you fired off a gun?
I did not fire him off. He fired him off. His girl. Whatever the fuck he is.
Stay over there.
Yeah, please stay the fuck away from me.
Okay.
I didn't do shit. You got your fucking people back. Look, I have everything on my fucking phone.
Let me see your phone. Let me see.
Everything's
Show
on
me.
my phone.
Show me who shot a gun. Show me.
I didn't have the video, but I have all
Well,
this
you
fucking
said you.
proof on.
Show me your proof that somebody shot the
It's
gun.
written fucking proof. This
Do you have ID first of all?
I have a temporary.
Is this in her property? Yep. It's all her stuff. Don't be stupid. She's got a fuck.
What you just witnessed happened on July 8th, 2020, at 6:56 in the morning in Phoenix, Arizona. Phoenix police officers responding to a 911 call about a woman who had been kicked out of an apartment after becoming crazy and firing a gun outside. The woman in that footage is 24-year-old Jovana Kelsey McCreary. You heard the officer ask her directly, "Do you have a firearm on you?" Her answer, "I do not." She lied. Officers had been talking to her for nearly 7 minutes. Calm conversation. They searched her bag with her permission, found ammunition, found illegal drugs, then discovered she had an outstanding warrant for her arrest. When the officer reached to handcuff her, McCreary pulled a gun from her waistband and fired. She shot at officers point blank. The round narrowly missed them. Both officers immediately returned fire. McCreary was struck twice. She dropped the gun and hit the ground. According to the official Phoenix Police Department report, McCreary survived. She was transported to a hospital in critical condition, but lived. No officers were injured. No bystanders were hit. A 24-year-old woman lied about having a gun, then tried to kill police officers during a lawful arrest. And the entire encounter, from the calm conversation to the gunfire, was captured on body camera. Before we continue, if you want to understand the full story behind Bodycam footage, not just raw clips without explanation, subscribe to this channel right now. We don't just post Bodycam videos. We break them down. We give you the 911 calls that started it, the laws that apply, the investigation results, the outcomes for everyone involved. Our goal is to help you understand what really happened and why it happened, so you can form your own informed opinion. That's what sets this channel apart. Context, analysis, and the complete story. Hit that subscribe button now. To understand how this encounter started, we need to go back to the 911 call that brought officers to that hotel parking lot. According to the official Phoenix PD report, a man called 911 at approximately 6:56 a.m. on July 8, 2020. He reported that his roommate was becoming crazy. He said he had kicked her out of their apartment, and he said she had shot a gun outside the apartment building. This wasn't a minor disturbance call. This was a report of someone firing a weapon in a residential area at 7 in the morning. Immediate danger to the public. Officers were dispatched to a hotel in the area of 10400 North Black Canyon Highway in Phoenix. When they arrived, they met the caller, the roommate who had made the 911 call. He showed officers where McCreary had allegedly fired the gun. Then he spotted her, near a parking lot on the north side of the hotel. He pointed her out to officers and directed them to her location. 2 officers and a sergeant approached McCreary. All 3 had body cameras recording. The encounter started calmly. Officers asked her questions. She answered. No immediate hostility. No threats. Just a conversation. One of the first questions they asked, "Do you have a firearm on you?" McCreary's answer, "I do not." That was a lie, and it was the first critical deception that would lead to gunfire minutes later. The officers didn't know she was lying yet. They continued talking to her, building rapport, trying to figure out what had happened and whether she was the person who had fired a gun earlier. They asked if they could search her bag. McCreary gave permission. Consent to search. No warrant needed when someone voluntarily allows it. Officers searched the bag. Inside, they found ammunition. .357 Magnum rounds. Large caliber bullets designed for revolvers or certain semi-automatic handguns. If you have ammunition but claim you don't have a gun, that raises immediate red flags for officers. Why do you have bullets if you don't have a weapon? They kept searching. Found illegal drugs. The report doesn't specify what type, but officers on scene identified controlled substances. Now McCreary wasn't just a potential witness or person involved in a disturbance. She was someone in possession of illegal drugs with ammunition and a history of lying to police. Then dispatch came back with more information. McCreary had an outstanding misdemeanor warrant for her arrest. At that point, officers had legal grounds to take her into custody. The warrant alone was enough. The drugs added to it. The ammunition raised serious concern about whether she actually had a gun despite denying it. The entire conversation, from first contact to the decision to arrest, took nearly 7 minutes. 7 minutes of talking, searching, investigating. No aggression from officers. No immediate escalation. But when the officer reached to handcuff McCreary, everything changed. The body camera footage shows the exact moment things go wrong. An officer takes McCreary's hand to begin handcuffing her. Standard arrest procedure. She has a warrant. She's being lawfully detained. McCreary immediately struggles. She pulls away. She's resisting arrest, a crime in itself. Officers try to gain control of her hands to complete the handcuffing. Then McCreary reaches for her waistband. She pulls out a handgun. The gun she claimed she didn't have. The gun officers specifically asked her about. The gun she lied about while carrying it concealed on her body the entire time they were talking to her. Officers don't have time to give commands. Don't have time to draw their own weapons first. McCreary already has the gun out. Already has it pointed. Already has her finger on the trigger. She fires. The muzzle flash is visible on the body camera. The gunshot is loud and unmistakable. She discharged a firearm directly at police officers from point-blank range, probably less than 5 feet away. The round narrowly missed. If her aim had been slightly different, if the struggle had positioned officers differently, one or both of them could have been killed instantly. But the officers are trained for exactly this scenario. Active threat, deadly force, imminent danger. Both officers draw their weapons and return fire immediately. Multiple gunshots in rapid succession. The body cameras capture the chaos, movement, shouting, the flash of gunfire, the sound of rounds being fired. McCreary is struck twice. The bullets hit her. She drops the gun. She falls to the ground. The entire sequence, from McCreary reaching for the gun to her hitting the ground, takes only seconds. Maybe 3 or 4 seconds total. That's how fast deadly force encounters happen. Officers immediately transition from shooting to rendering aid. Commands to show her hands. Ensuring the gun is secured and away from her. Checking for additional weapons. Calling for medical assistance. Phoenix Fire Department paramedics arrive. They take over first aid. McCreary is transported to a hospital in critical condition. According to the official report, she survived her injuries. Being shot twice at close range is often fatal, but she lived. Whether she suffered permanent injuries or disabilities isn't specified in available information. What is clear? She tried to kill police officers during a lawful arrest, and those officers responded with the force necessary to stop the threat. Was this attempted murder of police officers? Type yes or no below. Asterisk asterisk. Let's break down the legal issues in this case, because there are several critical questions. Was the search legal? Yes. McCreary gave consent. Officers asked if they could search her bag. She said yes. Consent searches don't require warrants or probable cause. When someone voluntarily allows police to search, anything found is admissible evidence. Was the arrest legal? Yes. McCreary had an outstanding warrant. That alone gives officers full authority to arrest her. The drugs found during the search provided additional grounds. The ammunition raised concerns that led officers to want to secure her. Was McCreary required to comply? Yes. When you have a warrant, you don't get to refuse arrest. When officers are lawfully detaining you, resisting is a crime. McCreary had zero legal right to resist being handcuffed. Was pulling the gun a crime? Absolutely. Multiple serious felonies. Possession of a firearm by a prohibited person if she wasn't legally allowed to own guns. Carrying a concealed weapon without a permit. Aggravated assault on police officers. Pulling and pointing the gun. Attempted murder of police officers. Firing at them. Were officers justified in shooting her? Without question. Under Arizona law and Supreme Court precedent, officers can use deadly force when facing imminent threat of death or serious bodily injury. McCreary fired a gun at them. She had already pulled the trigger. She had already tried to kill them. Officers shooting back was textbook justified use of force. Tennessee versus Garner and Graham versus Connor. The cases governing police use of force both support the officer's actions. When someone shoots at you, you can shoot back to stop the threat. Could officers have done anything differently? Not really. They talked to her calmly for 7 minutes. They asked permission before searching. They followed procedure for the arrest. When she pulled a gun and fired, they had milliseconds to respond. They didn't escalate. She did. What charges did McCreary face? The report doesn't list final charges, but based on her actions, she likely faced attempted murder of police officers, multiple counts, 2 officers, aggravated assault on peace officers, Class 2 felony in Arizona, punishable by up to 12.5 years per count, unlawful discharge of a firearm, resisting arrest, possession of illegal drugs, possession of drug paraphernalia, the scale found in her bag, the outstanding warrant she was already wanted for. If convicted on all counts, McCreary could face decades in prison. Attempted murder of police officers alone carries 10 to 25 years in Arizona. Multiple counts means sentences could stack. Did she have any defense? Not legally. She lied about having a gun. She concealed it. She pulled it during a lawful arrest. She fired it at officers. There's no self-defense claim when you're resisting a lawful arrest and shooting at cops. She could argue mental health issues, intoxication, or diminished capacity, but those might reduce her sentence slightly. They don't eliminate criminal liability for trying to kill police officers. The Bodycam can't tell us what McCreary was thinking, but we can analyze the circumstances and make educated assessments. She had a warrant. Even if it was just a misdemeanor warrant, maybe failure to appear in court, unpaid fines, something relatively minor. She knew getting arrested meant going to jail. Some people panic at that prospect. She had drugs. Getting arrested with illegal drugs means additional charges, more jail time, more consequences. Maybe she was thinking if she could escape, she could avoid all of it. She was armed. The fact that she lied about having the gun suggests she knew she wasn't supposed to have it. Maybe she was a prohibited person, prior felony, domestic violence conviction, something that made gun possession illegal for her. If so, being caught with a gun meant serious felony charges on top of everything else. She had ammunition in her bag. Officers found .357 Magnum rounds. She knew they'd found them. She knew officers were wondering where the gun was. She knew they might search her further. Maybe she thought her only option was to fight. She was already in trouble. Her roommate kicked her out for becoming crazy. She'd allegedly fired a gun outside an apartment building. She was having a bad day that was about to get much worse. Maybe she snapped. Or she simply made a violent choice. Some people, when faced with arrest, decide they'd rather try to kill police officers than go to jail. It's not rational. It's not justified. But it happens. Whatever her reasoning, the result was the same. She pulled a gun on officers during a lawful arrest and fired at them. That's attempted murder. That's a choice that carries decades in prison. The 7-minute conversation is important. Officers weren't aggressive. They weren't hostile. They talked to her calmly. They explained what they were doing. They treated her with respect despite finding drugs and ammunition. She repaid that respect by trying to kill them. According to the Phoenix Police Department, Jovana Kelsey McCreary survived being shot twice by officers. She was transported to a hospital in critical condition, meaning life-threatening injuries requiring immediate intensive care. Critical condition for gunshot wounds typically means significant blood loss, possible damage to vital organs, need for emergency surgery, risk of death without immediate intervention. She survived. The report confirms that. But it doesn't detail her injuries, whether she required long-term hospitalization, whether she suffered permanent disabilities, or what her recovery looked like. What we know, she lived. She faced criminal charges. She went through the legal system. The officers involved were not injured. The round McCreary fired at them missed, possibly by inches. If she had better aim, if the struggle had positioned them differently, one or both officers could have been killed. No bystanders were injured. Despite multiple gunshots in a hotel parking lot at 7 a.m., no innocent people were hit. That's fortunate, because bullets don't always stop where you want them to, especially in chaotic close-quarters gunfights. The gun McCreary used was recovered at the scene, likely a .357 Magnum revolver or a semi-automatic pistol chambered for .357 rounds based on the ammunition found in her bag. The Phoenix Police Department released the body camera footage to the public, standard procedure for officer-involved shootings in Arizona. Transparency, accountability, public documentation of what happened. The footage shows exactly what occurred. Officers can't be accused of planting evidence or lying about the sequence of events when everything is on camera. McCreary asked if she had a gun, denied having one, pulled it during arrest, fired, got shot, all documented. This case in Phoenix represents something that happens more often than most people realize. Suspects lying to police about weapons, then using those weapons when arrest becomes imminent. Officers ask, "Do you have any weapons?" for a reason. It's not small talk. It's officer safety. If you're armed and they're about to search you or arrest you, they need to know so they can secure the weapon safely. When people lie about being armed, they create exactly the kind of deadly situation that happened here. McCreary denied having a gun. Officers proceeded based on that information. Then she pulled the gun, and suddenly officers are in a gunfight they didn't expect. Could officers have searched her more thoroughly before attempting to handcuff her? Maybe. But they had no specific reason to think she was armed beyond the ammunition in her bag. She'd been cooperative during the conversation. She'd consented to the bag search. She wasn't displaying obvious signs of being armed. A more thorough pat-down might have found the gun. But legally, officers need reasonable suspicion to conduct a pat-down search for weapons. The ammunition arguably provided that. But in the moment, based on her denials and cooperative demeanor, officers chose to proceed with the arrest. When officers ask if you're armed, tell the truth. If you have a weapon, declare it. Let them secure it safely. Lying about it and pulling it later gets you shot and charged with attempted murder. This case reinforces why officer safety procedures exist. Always assume people might be armed even when they deny it. Always be ready for sudden violence during arrests. Always have lethal cover when dealing with someone who has ammunition but claims no gun. This shooting was justified. McCreary fired first. Officers returned fire to stop an active deadly threat. But the shooting could have been prevented if McCreary had simply told the truth and complied with a lawful arrest. She made violent choices. She tried to kill police officers. She paid for those choices with gunshot wounds and felony charges. The officers did their jobs. They investigated a call. They found drugs and a warrant. They attempted a lawful arrest. When fired upon, they defended themselves. That's what the Bodycam shows. That's what the evidence proves. That's what happened on July 8, 2020, in Phoenix, Arizona. Final question. Should lying to police about having a weapon be a separate felony charge? Drop your answer below, asterisk asterisk. And if you want more real Bodycam footage analyzed with complete context and honest breakdowns, subscribe to this channel. We show you what happened, explain the law, and let you decide. Thanks for watching. See you next time.